There's a battle going on. You know what I'm saying? A battle for the purity of the gospel. There's a battle for the character of God. I really feel like the church is struggling with the character of God, which is a bad place. That we have to know who God is.
Yeah.
There's real question about what if what it means to know God entails social engagement.
Bruh.
The fact that that's even I've had conversation with people that are outside of our world, like they come from different countries. They're like, the fact that y'all are even challenged that what it, like, I think about the prophets, Jeremiah, where it says that what it means to know God is to take care of the needy. That's what those two are connected. The fact that they're still, we're spending our time, instead of just overflowing in compassion and love for thy neighbor, we're spending our time, scientifically dissecting. Well, what's a neighbor? What do you mean by needy? Why are they needy? Did they do that to themselves?
Let's get the people what they want. The Wade-O Radio Show.
This interview is brought to you by our sponsor, Devin Turner. This MC and pastor is not only putting out great music, but he's doing phenomenal work in his community and abroad. Check out his new album, Luminary, available on all digital outlets. For more info, visit his website at devinturner.org. DJ Wade-O, of course. We're live at JahRock'n, the premier studio in New York City for your mixing, mastering, recording needs. My brother KB is in the building. My brother, what's going on?
Man, I'm just trying to stay alive and take care of my people. They ain't got no awards for that.
I feel you, man. What's been going on, bro?
So just up here in New York on the press run.
Yeah.
And, getting ready for October 20th.
Yes.
Today We Rebel.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
The new album.
Let's
talk about it, man.
Let's go.
Let's talk about that concept, man.
Yeah.
Because we had Tomorrow We Live. Today We Rebel. The next one's going to be Yesterday We Do Something, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Yesterday It's Over.
Yesterday It's Over.
So Tomorrow We Live was a look at the future.
Yeah.
That there is a coming reality that will make all things right.
Sure.
I thought that was important given how discouraging times can get.
Yep.
And I've heard attacks against the concept of especially for African Americans, like, man, this whole focus on the sweet by and by and eternity and stuff like that. We need our heaven now. And I wanted to stand for the idea that eternity is real and it's worth putting your hope in.
Sure.
Ultimately, because heaven will never ever be realized. The fullness that God has promised the image bearers in this life. We won't get it in its fullness. Though we ought to fight for its realities now. Which comes to Today We Rebel is now, okay, tomorrow is tomorrow. What do we do today?
Yeah.
And Today We Rebel is dealing with sort of the tension of being here in the moment. What's the reaction?
What are we rebelling against? Culture, people, systems?
We rebel against anything that would take a place of ownership over the people of God that is not God. So we are bound by Him, and we're completely cool to live free in that.
Sure.
But we realize that the sin in our own heart, the culture in the world, sin in other people, and the systems that are created are not like neutral. Yeah. They're either moving towards God or they're moving away from God.
Yeah.
And as those who are, hopefully by God's grace moving into greater conformity into Jesus, you're going to have friction.
Yeah.
And in that moment, you got to ask yourself a question. Are you free?
Yeah.
And if you're free, then there will be a fight.
One of our last interviews we did, I think we were at Legacy Conference, and, man, you talked extensively about ownership and business. And I really felt like, just kind of looking back on it and knowing some of the things that you're into now, it was almost like God was giving you a vision at that point. You didn't have a full vision yet, but you knew you was about to own something, right? So I know obviously you have this Native North situation, but you put out a song, one of your first singles for this project, Don't Nobody Own Us. And every artist I saw was like, yes, this is us. Yes. You know what I mean? What sparked that, man?
Well, one is I think that it's an important message for the church in America. And I in some ways am a leader. I think it's important for us to recover this idea that allegiance does not belong to anyone except God. That we have an allegiance to God that supersedes our nation. It supersedes our ethnicity, our race. It supersedes what my own desires are. It is in that allegiance that I find God's glory highest lifted up, and my happiness is at its fullest as well. So I want to reestablish that, because with the politicizing of theology, the politicizing of church, the sort of politicizing of all things. I mean, folks can't, someone can die and be bleeding in the street, and all of a sudden all the political agendas come rushing in that we don't even have time to weep anymore. Just to have compassion over a fallen image bearer, because we're so consumed with who we may be connected to. Like this, when truth isn't even God's anymore. I wanted to reestablish that God has the title on truth. And when somebody's speaking truth, they're speaking what belongs to him. The question isn't first, are they liberal or conservative? Or that I remember having conversations about things, and then labels just started just flying all over the place. I never even heard of. Oh, you saying that because you are such and such. You know what I'm saying? The most recent one, you're a reformed liberal. I'm like, what is that?
Reformed liberal.
A reformed liberal? Like, where are y'all getting this stuff from? I'm just trying to obey the Bible. If there is overlap with another organization there, then so be it. My allegiance is not to your opinion or any organization, is to the Lord. So anyways, that's what I want to say with the project. That's really important to me, and that's where the heart don't nobody own us. And then that works itself out in taking risks, because God has us if we step out. You feel me? Yeah. And CHH, man, it is important for those who care about what's happening in this world to begin to own this. We do not need to wait for what we can get from those who are sitting at the table. It is time for us to build what we can contribute and take ownership of this culture.
See, I think, man, like, when I think about that song, even in a bigger scope than Christian hip hop, I think about what's going on with the NFL players and their situation in terms of, them kneeling and exercising their right to protest, and the owner saying, nah, you're not going to roll like that. And the players stepping back and saying, I have this right based on the Constitution. Yes, I'm contractually obligated to play for you, but we're going to do this. Like, you don't own us. And I really feel like the Lord is giving you this song in this season. It's not a coincidence. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Originally I was going to name the album The Sons Are Free.
Okay.
Which I was pulling from, but I didn't want to use it because, it leaves daughters out, you know what I'm saying? But that is a phrase from the scripture where Jesus is dealing with this issue of taxes, and you got a tax collector and he has children, and it's like, do his children have to pay taxes?
Sure.
Well, his sons are free because he's the tax collector. He doesn't have to get it from them, but they do it anyways, which is this, Jesus is making this point around our allegiance is to God, not Caesar. So I'll pay my taxes to Caesar, but I'm not going to pay my allegiance to them because that's already occupied by someone else, namely the Lord Jesus. So I think that this is just a reminder, and actually Piper has an article that they put out around voting.
Yep.
About, because saying like, he's like, I voted. You should take advantage of your sort of right and privilege to vote.
Sure.
But you're not obligated. The kingdom that we are a part of, the citizenship that we have, if that has so convicted your heart that you're like, yo, I see two candidates and both of them are whack.
Yeah.
And you say, I'm not entering into that out of my conscience. You are free.
Sure.
The sons are free. And I couldn't agree with that more. So that for me has been what I've been, sort of staking my life on is that remembering that I have a kingdom citizenship that frees me to kneel. It frees me to stand. It frees me to engage in certain conversation. It frees me to recuse myself. The Bible has to be recovered as the final authority and not your political affiliation, because that is where things are digressing into. And if you have the scripture in front of you, you have to deal. Paul says, give folks liberty in their perspective if this is not a black and white, non-disputable matter. So I want to call my people, I want to call the believer to think through life in that way, which leads us to what it truly means to be free.
Sure. I want to ask you this, man. I've actually been wondering this for some time. I get hints of people saying at times that KB doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff that Reach Records is doing, namely Lecrae. And no, I'm just being honest with you. And I've never really got that vibe from you. Obviously, people are never going to agree on every single issue. Yeah. Like, we get that. But I almost feel like there's an undercurrent of people that almost want you to disagree with them. And I don't know, man, I guess just your thoughts on it, man.
Yeah. So I would say, one, I am a proud supporter of Lecrae. He's my brother. I love him. I'm indebted to him for how he's paved the way for me. As I look at everything that I've been able to build from my literal house that I own till I was 25 years old. I bought my first home, and been able to. There's been all sorts of other subsequent opportunities that came from him. So I'm always careful about how I talk about my relationship there, because with Lecrae, because I honor him, respect him, and certainly have a debt of gratitude there.
Absolutely.
With that being said, yeah, we disagree on stuff. Now I've heard he's said that. I think he's even said that on this show. Yeah, we and sometimes
called you the most CHHHH.
Yeah,
H.
I wish, for the record, he would not have said that. Because my thing has just a quick aside. My thing has always been, we have been given that name. We didn't get together and say, how do we describe this? This is, even when I talk to people in the mainstream, that's just how they just put together. You're a Christian, you keep talking about that, and you rap. Christian rap, you know what I'm saying? And so my thought has been similar to how, not that I want to get CHH. Somebody said that to me. You want to get CHH tattooed on our back? That's not my thing. If we didn't call ourselves that, it would not bother me at all.
Yeah.
But two things I'm not gonna do. One, I'm not gonna be like, I'm not a Christian rapper. I just feel like I may sound silly if I said that.
Sure.
You're basically a pastor and whatever. And then the second thing that I won't do is that I realize that this is the hands that I've been dealt. I'm a black man in America. I know about labels, bro. I know about limiting labels.
Sure.
And I have a opportunity to bring redemption to what that means to be black, not just in white circles, but also in my own community. On Monster, I talk about growing up being called an Oreo.
Yeah.
How on my block to seem educated is to be white. That is a disgrace to what it means to be black, to give education and proper thinking and love for books to another people group. That's not who we are. That's not the legacy that I come from the Douglas and the Baldwin and these men, Frantz Fanon. Come on. So anyways, let me come back. So I want to redeem it, and similar to how the Jewish community, when the edict went out that said that they had to wear these hats to make fun of them, and they used those hats as an opportunity to sort of stick it to the government and say, okay, we'll wear these hats. We're going to turn it into a fashion sense and then create $1 billion industry. Yeah. I just see that there being there's value in us redeeming it, as opposed to throwing it off. That's always been my thing. That's what happened to me. I had somebody come to me and speak well about it. I was a fire-breathing heathen. Somebody said, you got to check out Christian rap. I said, that's terrible. I don't want to hear that. I listened to them. They said, no. This is actually good, though. I listened to it. I got saved. You feel me? So anyways, I can't get around. All right, back to your question. Sorry.
Obviously, that's the point y'all disagree on.
Yeah, I think we may see that differently. Even though I don't think that he would be against what I'm just saying, he just doesn't approach it that way.
Sure.
But I think that he would support what I'm saying, though. I think in general, though.
Well, he would obviously he would because he supports you.
That's
he
right.
supports what you're doing.
That's right. Right. Certainly. I think that in terms of philosophy, this is where I get off with those who would come out and sort of make a statement of we stand against you, Lecrae. I think that there's a difference between error and heresy. All right. And we can have lots of debate around error because there's a lot of things that I know I'm in error in right now as we speak, even if I can't figure them out. I know I'm in error.
Sure.
But I would think that people wouldn't assume that I'm like punting the faith and I'm a heretic. So a lot of our discussion is around there being concern for me having error and vice versa. And it's able to stay very comfortably in that sort of circle in our conversation, even though there's disagreements that may be there, but it does not jump into, I just want you to know, brother, you're going to hell. You know, that right there, when you start accusing people of, they're accusing them and ruling over their motives, when you begin to, put them in heaven or in hell, when you begin to say that what you're doing is leading people astray, we're not I'm not on the same page with the group of folks, even people that I respect and love, who have gotten that far, because I just don't agree with that. Yeah. Overall, I think that Crae's intentions are to win people to Jesus, and I want to support him in that. There are greater fights out there, my brothers and sisters. There are really big fights out there, and one of our own who we disagree with and may have right reasons to do so, I get no pleasure in trying to tear him down.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I wondered about this when it happened, when Shai put that record out this summer. And then there was the video with you and Shai together.
Yes.
At Legacy Conference.
Yes. Shout out to Shai. We love you. I love you.
Clearly that's your man. Clearly Lecrae is your man.
Yeah.
But some people looked at that like they didn't know what to make of it, to be honest with you.
Yes. And I struggled what to make of it at first, given the context.
Sure.
So, and I'll say this real quick because I want everyone to be honored. I'm not here to, we are brothers, even though we disagree. Because I certainly have me and Shai don't see this eye to eye on things.
Sure.
In fact, after that video, we went out to lunch, and there we really realized that we don't agree on a lot of how this conversation works itself out. I think there's certain things that we do see eye to eye on, and I think even if people won't give Crae credit for it, but I think even he sees some of the value in what's being said to him, like the situation with Dayton.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, with Dayton.
I'm excuse. Yep. Sorry, Dayton. I'm sorry, bro. He corrected me last time I said that. But I still have tremendous.
Oh, he clearly saw value in that, bro.
Yeah.
He clearly
definitely
saw value in that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him even since that situation in our interview. I've seen him shout out a ton of Christian rappers.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't think his heart was ever to discourage what was going on. You know what I mean?
I think that he was still processing how to deal with this.
Sure.
And I can appreciate that struggle and that challenge. So I do want to say that, but also I don't want in any way try to put Shai down because I'm not interested in doing that either. But I did have a conversation about that video and how I thought that we could better show uniformity than what that video communicated. Shai ended up taking it down, even though he didn't see it the way I saw it. And there really was some situations that took place that left confusion.
Sure.
So without going into great detail, and again wanting Shai to be honored, wanting Crae to be honored, and I don't want to too much dive into my thoughts on what happened there.
Yeah.
But I certainly think that at the end of the day, dudes need to talk to each other, and that's on both sides though. That just can't be like, well, you took your shot at me.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me? Well, then at the same time, when I do call you, you need to answer the phone.
Pick up.
There has to be a shared interest in peace, because that's what some of the air that we got to be careful of, is that those who want to see change feel like those who need to be changed don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that may not be true, but we have to be, truth. I love Truth. Truth called me out on something yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And because I respect him, we haven't gotten on the phone and talked about it yet, but I want to, hear his, why do you think I shouldn't have done that? Here's my reason for doing that. But we're going to end this in peace. And so I certainly feel as though that's what has to happen at the end of the day. And this is a lot more. And there's all sorts of stuff happening behind closed doors, where there's, broken friendships and the expectations that weren't met. It just is a lot deeper than what meets the eye. And it's all going to come down to the Spirit of God bringing some sort of peaceful conclusion. Well, we can just be denominations. You're a Baptist. I'm Pentecostal. Yeah. I know you don't like us running down the down the church and speaking in tongues, stuff like that. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah. And that is the unfortunate schism that the church has experienced. But there has been some value in this sort of respect for that. We just don't see things the same.
Two things you just said. Very key about all the stuff going on behind the scenes and the fractured relationships and all that stuff. But another word you just said, respect. I think on a certain level, we don't always have the amount of respect for each other that we should have for one another that will foster healthy dialogue like this on a regular basis. It's always, a lot of times, it's an antagonistic me versus you. And we make assumptions. Like, bro, sometimes you may see something a certain way. Before you call them out, just say, hey, help me understand this. Maybe there was something else that went into that decision that you made that I'm not even aware of. Help me understand that. And we got to be peaceful on the other end to be able to communicate that to one another.
I totally agree. And we need that type of maturity. Because, dog, I feel taken up with a battle. Like, there's a battle going on. You know what I'm saying? A battle for the purity of the gospel. There's a battle for the character of God. I really feel like the church is struggling with the character of God, which is a bad place. That we have to know who God is. There's real question about what it means to know God entails social engagement. The fact that that's even I've had conversations with people that are outside of our world, like they come from different countries. They're like, the fact that y'all are even challenged that what it, like, I think about the prophets, Jeremiah, where it says that what it means to know God is to take care of the needy. That's what those two are connected. The fact that they're still, we're spending our time, instead of just overflowing in compassion and love for thy neighbor, we're spending our time scientifically dissecting, well, what's a neighbor? What do you mean by needy? Why are they needy? Did they do that to themselves? It's like, we need a recovery of who God is, and that is a battle that I want, that I feel like we as Christians who are artists or Christian art, whatever you want to call yourself, that we can engage that conversation and really begin to shift the way, particularly believers see the world.
I want your thoughts on this. I thought about this the other day. I feel like for the first time in the church's history in America, there are actually a lot of African Americans that are in position to even have these kind of conversations in a respectable way with the evangelical church, which is majority white. But get this, though. The crazy part about it is Christian hip-hop has been a big part of that fuel. And in particular, I shouldn't even just say Christian hip-hop. Reach Records, Lamp Mode, even Cross Movement to an extent. Like, you look at what Deuce and Wells and a lot of what they're doing, like, they're in position to have those conversations where we, if you look at our history, never really had that, man. Just your thoughts on that, bro.
So,
and I know it's not as much as we would want it to be.
Sure. But so it's so funny, Doc, because I remember being called a Black Panther by some brothers probably like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And to see those same brothers calling me basically Uncle Tom.
Wow.
Because this is what happened. One day, folks woke up and said, "Oh my goodness." They were like, I am a champion for a group of people who are utterly ignorant of everything that I came from.
Yeah.
And I've become a reflection of that ignorance because I'm ignorant about where I came from because I haven't even thought about it very deeply. I grab much respect to Bible college. I love Bible college. And I don't want to put mine down, the one I went to. But I remember starting my first year at Bible college, like, I'm getting this and I'm going back to the hood, dog. Yeah. I'm getting in, going back. Getting in, going back. I got in. 3 years later, I was seriously contemplating planting a church in rural Minnesota. I was seriously contemplating, like, Lord, how's this going to work? They're in the lumber and stuff like that.
Rural Minnesota, though?
Yes, because I had a class called Urban Missions, and it was like what urban meant like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And we played this video of these unreached people in, like, rural Minnesota. So I'm like, Lord, I don't like being cold, but this is where you're calling me. I'm not even thinking the fact that I'm a black dude from Southside St. Petersburg showing up in rural Minnesota while Southside St. Petersburg is dying. So the psyche begins to shift. Same thing we talk about. John Piper's one of my heroes. I say that unashamedly. I love John Piper.
Yeah.
But when we think about Don't Waste Your Life, in that book, which is my wife's one of her favorite books, and there's so much in there that's good, but there's so many blind spots in that book. You can't travel around urban America telling them don't chase the American dream. We're not dreaming at all. Yeah. We don't even see ourselves past 21 years old. Now, I'm not saying everybody. I don't want to blanket state or make things worse than they ought to be. But I'm just saying there is a deeper need where people are trying to survive in these neighborhoods. They don't even have a concept of thriving. So what does the gospel have to say to that? You feel me? Not afraid I'm going to become too rich and I'm going to forget about God. I'm afraid I'm going to become too poor and forget about God and start robbing people. Right. And the Bible deals with both of those realities. You feel me? So I think that I don't even know why I haven't got onto this, but, I just certainly think that it's just a wider situation that we got to be aware of.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. I'm sorry. That the fact of the matter is that we wake up and like, yo, we need to realize that when we said understand the times and know what to do, it meant understand the suburbs and know what to do. And we forgot that there are people outside of that world that have experiences. So what I want to do is I want to continue to love the suburb. I don't want to get rid of my love for the white evangelical crowd, and I know that's a lot more nuanced, and but I'm just, you know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to lose my love for the majority culture like I had before, and say, now I'm done with y'all. I'm going over here. Yeah. I think we need to be intentional, and I think some brothers have tried to do this about ensuring that now that there's intentionality around trying to speak to everyone's experience and make music that everyone that is in our scope can deal with. And I think when that happened, some people did what I said we shouldn't do. They were like, I'm done with y'all. I'm going here. And some of that's noble. I can respect some of that. But I do think that there needs to be a carefulness with realizing that we are dealing with people that Christ has died for. Remember that allegiance thing? Christ has died for people that I'm going to stand in front of at Winter Jam. Christ has died for those little kids in that youth group, just like Christ has died for the people in the hood. I have found myself uniquely in front of both audiences. I want to steward and love them well. Now, I know there's no perfect world. Yeah. People are going to reject you. You're going to get pushed back. It's unavoidable. Sure. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a gospel metric that we're at least dying and fighting for, and not trying to show that we're black enough and now we're with the struggle. A lot of these dudes they're fake woke. They literally been awake for 5 minutes. They're literally just repeating what they saw on Twitter or some meme, or they're doing publicity stunts. But there is a integrated like thick and long history of urban black leaders like myself, even though I'm just starting myself, but there's a history of folks that engage these issues as Bible-believing Christians, loving their neighbor, even where they feel though the image of God on them is being strained.
That's good, bro. How do you make music for all those groups though?
You can't. You do the best that you can and realize that it's not going to work, you know. Every, I love how Jay says that you don't ever finish your album, you just decide to release it. And you want to be understood, right? It's Nina Simone, like, please, Lord, don't let me be misunderstood. But you realize you're not going to. Some people are going to hear this because there's something called cognitive recognition. They're going to hear you say one thing and think you're talking about something else. They're going to bring their own experiences onto it. So you can't. You do the best that you can, thinking about them, realizing that it's not going to work across the board. But at the end of the day, that's where you got to take peace with. I know that this is going to fail. But I take peace that God is able to apply this to his people and to the world at large in a way that he sees fit, and it's in his hands.
That's good. That's really good, bro. Talk to me about, while we was talking about ownership and all of that stuff, Native North, man.
Yeah.
This whole situation with you and Natalie and obviously Joe Solomon involved, Swoop. I love Swoop, man.
Swoop is the truth, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Hey, man, I love Swoop, bro.
Top 5 dead or alive. So Native North is a company that myself and Natalie Lawrence started 2 years ago.
Yep.
Birthed from a place of need to bring infrastructure to communities that are under-resourced, and more in particularly, I think about those who lack opportunity. They have ability, but they don't have the opportunity. If they just had folks that believed in them that would come around and help to sort of bring infrastructure to what they do, they would go out and change the world. So the need for that and the utter lack of that, right, birthed this fire in us. You know what I mean? Like, we need to build something. Christian hip hop, whatever you want to call it. Let's say Christians who are involved in even urban ministry, or Christians that are involved in any sort of under-resourced people group, often find themselves under-resourced. I got friends, met with a pastor the other day, sat down and said, yeah, man, somebody gave us our church. Oops.
Wow.
That's all right. I met with a pastor the other day. He was like, yeah, man, somebody just handed the keys to us, gave us our church.
What? I
was like, yo, our church has been struggling to find, because we're not pastoring to rich people, so there's not a lot of finances to staff people. Or to even buy a new location. And so there's an utter lack of resources. And what I can do as an artist is that I can go off and say, well, I'm just going to make my money and sort of build my name in an audience where that's not an issue there.
Yeah.
There's plenty of budget. Hire 5 more pastors. You know what I'm saying? Sign 5 more artists. You know what I'm saying? And so we wanted to be, try to be like the character of God and start something that helps the needy. So real quick, just 30 seconds. Native North came out of existence from that place. And what it has turned into is that there's arms to it. So there's a supply arm. Musicians aren't making musicians aren't making money off of their records like that anymore. They're funding their careers off their merchandise. So by God's grace, I've been able to purchase a shop or buy into a shop and have contracts out with other shops that we can provide a place where you are valued. You'll come up to this shop and we're glad your business is here. You wouldn't believe what artists go through with merchandise, man. And going to places where nobody from your culture works at that place ever. Yeah. And they essentially don't feel like you're valued. And that's how you feed your family. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we wanted to start something that artists all over could come, get their merch printed at a good price professionally, and also create jobs, again, for people who have the ability but lack opportunity. And then Native Supply started. So Native Supply is doing, we're the official branding arm of the Justice Conference. We do merch for multiple artists and tours, and obviously I own it, and then it's one of its clients.
Sure.
Actually, not the biggest client now.
Wow, that's what's up. Who's the biggest client?
It's actually a tour, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a tour that we work with. So anyways,
that's
so
big.
then there's Native Creative, and Native Creative is ran by Natalie Lauren, and also Peasy. There's another person that's a part of her team. Native Creative just finished up Lecrae's album. So and then there's also Native Speaks, which is the podcast arm, which is coming soon. So yeah, man, we are hoping to empower the people.
This is encouraging, man. You as an African American male having this vision, executing it, the way that you're doing it, empowering people, building business, building commerce, back into the kingdom, man. It's happy for you, bro.
Amen, brother.
That's the praying hands emoji right there.
Servant. We're just trying to figure this thing out, man.
It's the praying hands. So look, you got the tour coming up too, man.
Yeah. Triple E, KB, Ty Brazel, Joseph Solomon. Hometeam.
It's a dynamite lineup, man.
I think so.
We need a home team remix with all those artists, bro.
That would be nuts. Yeah, definitely. That's happening. Thank you for the idea.
Hey,
so I got to give you percentage.
You got to give me something, bro.
Percentage because you can.
You got to give me something, and this is on camera too.
I got you, dog.
And I'm not editing this out the interview.
I got you, G.
I'm messing with you though, bro. But you've put a lot into your touring though.
Yeah.
Like when I saw you in Atlanta, you were getting ready to go on a tempo tour.
Yeah.
Then, and I know behind the scenes you've invested a lot into your tour though.
Yes.
Like you own a lot of.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of what people see.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, you know, backdrop sound, all of that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my really my partner in crime when it comes to touring is Jason with B&L Lighting, and because of the friendships that I have and folks that really just believe in me. I mean, tempo tour. I did a tour off a song, which is they would say is probably one of the non-wise things.
But
that
you
that
did
can
it
do.
though. But
We
you did it though.
We did, and I didn't lose money. That's a rarity.
Come on, man.
Most tours lose money. Most tours are, you know, it wasn't the most profitable thing ever, but it was an investment.
Sure.
That, you know, bringing a good show in front of. I mean, we did Reggie's Rock Club in Chicago, packed it out, and we had to squeeze in our production into that place.
Come on, man.
And the promoter was like, "What is this? A bus rolled up and all this production is here." And we're like, "This is how we do it over here. We're gonna give, even if it's 200 people tonight, they're gonna get a phenomenal show."
Sure.
And what I've done by God's grace, what's been afforded to me through opportunities and again by God's grace, business decisions have given me income that I can invest into putting on experiences for the people without it hurting us. You know what I mean? So that's what that is, man. And and I'm just grateful for my team helping us think through it. I hope there's nobody else I'm forgetting. John Doulos, John works for us full time, creative lead. Obviously Natalie, just the team just coming together that helps to make these things happen. And God has been gracious to give us some resource to make that a reality.
Yeah, I mean. I've been telling everybody about this book, bro. So, I read Kevin Hart's book.
Okay.
Bro.
It's fire?
Amazing.
It's far.
Amazing.
Fire.
I read it in like 2 days.
What?
Yeah, I read it in like 2 days, bro.
Did he write
amazing.
it?
Yeah. Well, he had a writer with him.
Okay.
He had a writer with him.
But
it's his voice though. It's clear. It like it sounds like him. Yeah. You know. Here's the thing. One of the things he talks about in the book is, and this was probably my favorite part of the book, is when he talks about when he started touring. Yeah. And they started doing comedy clubs. Yeah. And they were like, he started off, he could book a weekend at a comedy club. They wouldn't really pack it out. These are like 250 seaters. Yeah. You know, then the second go around, they were selling out Friday and Saturday. Yeah. Third go around, he's there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
All of them. That's crazy.
Fourth go around, they're adding matinee shows. So on Friday and Saturday, he's doing 2 shows, plus the Thursday, Friday, selling out, right? Yeah. So it got to the point where he was, in a weekend, end up doing 10 shows, 250-seater, right? Yeah. Then that's when he said, all right, it's time to do theaters. Yeah. That's when he moved up to the theaters, started selling those out. Then it was arenas, right? That's the level.
Madison Square Garden.
So I'm saying that to say that's how you're starting this off. You own all your stuff. You own all your production. Like, he took his guys on the road with him. Yeah. Like, they was doing – he said they used to have they had a Polaroid camera. Yeah. You would pay $20 to take a picture with them and get the printout. That was part of the merch. I was like, who's paying for that?
Boy was hustling. Not that at all.
Nah, but it reminded me of what you – bro, most artists don't make that investment into the stuff that you invested in.
Yeah. You have, I mean, that's a part of betting the bag on yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Has God called you to this?
Lyric
alert. If God has called you to it, then the biggest risk you're going to take, man. We were talking about in the car, like dying for what you believe is probably easier than living for what you believe. And one of the ways you live for it, man, is with your treasure, invest in it. You know, so I hope that we can continue to the point, and I don't know if this is sooner than later for me. Last time I did an interview, I started tearing up when I started talking about this. But I'm legacy driven. I just want to build something that I can pass on to other artists, that I can pass on to my sons. That's what when people buy tickets to our tour, they're buying into this long vision of movement, of empowerment, of Christ's exaltation. That I hope is much bigger than I am, that goes on and helps other folks, you know.
I did want to ask you this too about the music. It's been a little while since you released a project.
Too long.
You know, why is that? Especially given in this day and age with streaming, how fast things move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, I think so. Tomorrow We Live dropped, and then I did 4 billion shows, and then I did a very long tour, and on that tour, a lot of opportunities opened up, man. Yeah, like shout out to Winter Jam. I was going to announce something, but I don't think I can do it right now. But
not yet. I know what you were going to announce, but
yeah, I guess I gave it away.
I guess, but
anyways, that really opened up a lot of opportunities for me to go on other tours. I became really good friends with a band called For King and Country.
Yeah.
We put
How many
dates
did
together.
you do with them, bro?
Man, we did. First of all, we did all of Winter Jam, and then they did 2 tours that year. Wow. And I did both of them. Wow. Plus I did Tempo. Yeah. And then I also did the festival circuit over the summer. So I think I probably said yes. I don't regret anything, especially with For King and Country, but I probably said yes more than I should have. And I just, I think about, just I don't feel comfortable making an album on the road.
Sure.
I feel like you need to live some life.
Yeah.
That's how I've always done it. I've been in my community. I had to take time off to really make that happen. So I actually wasn't able to do that because I did Winter Jam, West and East, and then all the tours in the middle. I wasn't able to really do that fully till January. So I shaped a lot of ideas, and then I spent January to July crafting the album. Yeah.
That's a grind, bro.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, even through the tour, you still do stuff in your church, in your community. You got your family, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like you single KB running around here.
No. Yes. Shout out to my wife. I love her so dearly. Yeah. She is the only woman for me, and Lord handcrafted her to propel me because my wife is active. When I get home, it's not like, talk to me about how hard it was on the road. It's like, baby, I love you. So glad to see you. Can you change his diaper? We also have blah, 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 blah. And I have to request that time, like, baby girl, I'm going to need a solid 2 hours. I just need to watch The Office and eat a bowl of Apple Jacks. That's what I need right now. So, but anyways, yeah. So, and then I'm so afraid of getting away from my community. I feel like I know this is not not theologically accurate phrase, but I'm going to say, but staying saved. I'm sorry I'm using that phrase, but staying saved. I'm Calvinist here, but I'm just saying, like, staying saved, like that my community keeps me tethered to reality.
But your community's been, come on, bro.
Yeah, like 11 years now.
I'm just saying. I just did an interview with Loso, and he talked about the early HGA, and he even talked about how y'all met. He said y'all met at a Flame concert.
Yes, yeah, I think it's St. Pete. Yep, true that.
Yeah, but he said that community, that was
strong, man. Somebody just sent me a video today, of us sitting in a Denny's almost 10 years ago. The whole Denny's, like half the Denny's is packed with all of us, and dude going to each table. What y'all talking about here? Yeah, man, we chopping up the blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. What y'all talking about? And then the other thing is, most of the people that were in that, I would say 80% of the people that were in that restaurant that day, almost 10 years later, are still walking with Jesus.
That's big.
That is that's my reward right there, man.
Yeah, that's big. Because it's not for people falling away from the faith is heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking, man. Hey, family, thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave us a comment. Would love to hear your thoughts on what we were just discussing. Also, if you want to book me for your next event, whether you got a concert, a party, a youth function, a corporate event, whatever it is, send us an email. It's booking@wadeorradio.com. I'd love to DJ your next event.